Hi, this is Maginoni. Here's my reviews for this week. And we have Thor, God of Thunder, number 8, Avengers Assemble, number 15, Avengers, number 11, Uncanny, 8, Justice League, and Batman. So let's take a quick look. Some of these I might just kind of breeze through really quick. Others might spend a little bit more time. Now, let's start off with Thor, God of Thunder, God Bomb, number 2. Now, there's Aaron has been doing a fantastic job with this in terms of the storytelling, and Rebick has done a great job also with the art. Overall, this is a very high quality book that you normally don't expect from Thor. And this has been quite enjoyable. Now, at times it might seem confusing because we're jumping in and out of time, and in this case, we ultimately are going to be getting 3 Thors from different time periods fighting the God Killer. And there is a funny moment in the sense where you have Thor meeting a young Thor meeting his grandchildren, and his grandchildren starting to, have fantasies for him type thing. It's not like they actually show the fantasies, they just make reference to it. So it's like that kind of humor thrown into it. And as you can see, the art is just really, really well done. The interaction between older Thor and a younger Thor is actually really fun also. And overall, I'm really looking forward to the conclusion of the series. I think overall the pacing has been rather good, and the story has been very, very well done. And this is one of those that it would be nice not to have multiple trades. What I would like is just like an omnibus style trade where it collects the entire run all in one volume. And this is, if you're not buying it, you should definitely jump on board. Even though it is getting near the end, always jump on board for the trade. Now, Avengers Assemble, The Age of Ultron. I'm just going to do a high-level thing about what's going on here. Because if you're normally a reader of Avengers Assemble, this is going to make no sense if you're not following the Age of Ultron thing. Basically, we're right in the middle, or actually towards the end of the Age of Ultron in the sense where Ultron's already taken over everything. And now what we're seeing is what's going on in England with Excalibur. And they're basically making an attempt to defeat Ultron. And they discover, well, yep, this isn't really Ultron. This is somebody else. And there's a huge sacrifice at the end. And, they're able to actually stop Ultron to a point, but they don't really stop Ultron completely because, obviously, because Ultron's not really there. But overall, I mean, I can't really say it was an enjoyable read because, to me, these types of stories like this is kind of like an Elsewhere type book where they can take some chances and do some interesting things because you know that everything's just going to be reset when it's all said and done. And while I thought it was somewhat of a decent job, I would have liked to have seen more about, I want to know what happened more to lead up to this point in time, rather than here's the aftermath. Because to me, I think that there could be really good, interesting stories of sacrifice and heroics that happened right as Ultron attacked, and it'd be really nice to see something to fill in that gap. Is this book really necessary? No. If you are an Age of Ultron reader, it's really not necessary because it doesn't really fit into the main storyline, so it's skippable. But if you just want to add some filler to it, at least from what I can tell right now, I don't see how this is going to tie into anything major because the future's already been changed. So we'll see what happens later. Okay, Avengers number 11. Now, this actually had a couple good moments in it, in that basically the Avengers send a small strike force in. There's, as you can see based on the cover, this is what you got going, and they basically go into a casino and they're looking for information. And by casino, I don't mean like a casino on the strip from Vegas. This is a very high-end, wealthy casino for the elite. And Carol has this huge plan of, okay, you do this to get this, and you go over there to get that. And there's so many things that can go wrong in her plan to extract information, While the Black Widow's like, well, why are we doing this? Why don't I just seduce him, bring him up here, we'll torture him, pull out his fingernails, and then he'll give us the information. I'll shoot him when we're done and dump him in the water. And everybody's like, what? We can't do that. And I personally believe Natasha's plan is the best option, rather than Carol's, if then what, maybe we'll get it to work plan. But everybody chooses to go Carol's route. Now, there's two bright moments in this book. One is, kind of like hilarity, and the other one is more the action side. And the hilarity side is when AIM discovers that Sunspot and Cannonball are at the casino. And, basically Sunspot and Cannonball are like, well, look, we're going to fight eventually, but why are we wasting our time now fighting when let's just have a good time? And AIM just finally goes, you know what, you're right on this, so let's just have a good time. And then they, gamble together and they drink. And, basically what Sam and Sunspot are trying to do is get, extract information from, AIM. And the other bright spot is on the very next page where you have Sung-Chi, he's fighting. And while the fight, I really enjoy the fighting, I don't think there's enough of it, unfortunately. But this is just basically, I guess you can say, is a filler issue in the sense of they're trying to get more information of what AIM is up to. And while the rest of the people failed, Sung-Chi figured it out, and basically AIM is stepping up its game and it's preparing for something really potentially evil. And it looks like the direction that the AIM is going through, especially with being involved in the Avengers, how they got their island, I have a feeling that Marvel is definitely building up something with AIM to be forced to be reckoned with sometime in the future. AIM is in so many of these different books now, and like high-profile books. We have Avengers, Secret Avengers, and it's there. I don't think this is by chance. They're definitely planning something. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the end game to this. Okay, now Uncanny Avengers. This is your stepping stone to something like secrets are going to come out and people are going to pay for it type thing. Now, what we have is Thor and Sunspot, trying to go deal with Apocalypse, and you have the rest of the Avengers, trying to figure out what's going on. You have Captain America jettisoned from space, that space station, and the Apocalypse twins. Now, the Apocalypse twins are definitely connected into the Red Skull and what he's doing. The Apocalypse twins are pissed off with Kang. They're angry. They need to do something with him. And then they are making reference to, this is what we're doing. We're angry with, we're angry with Wolverine. We're angry with so and so, so and so. This is what they did. And, Wolverine killed a child, referring back to X-Force when they killed Apocalypse. Thor's like, Wolverine would not do that. He's a noble person. So, we're getting truths. There's also the thing about Warren dying and how that was kept from the X-Men. And, all of the stuff is coming out to light now. You have Thor. What did Thor do? Oh, geez, I don't know. After his father told him leave Apocalypse alone, he grabbed the axe and he attacked attacked Apocalypse, wounded him, and this axe was actually the cause in the future to take Apocalypse out of the game, which allowed mutants to get persecuted and their ranks decimated because they didn't have their protector, so to speak. So there's a lot of secrets that are going to be coming out from this, and I'm really glad that Remender's taking control over Uncanny, because he's able to take a lot of his plot points from X-Force and throw it into this book seamlessly and without messing up continuity as to what happened. And I'm very, very happy for that. I think the art is really solid, even though it's not a traditional story art where you would expect for a big blockbuster title. I think it gives this book a lot more of a mature look. It gives it a different look, and I think that's what makes it a lot stronger overall. And there's something else going on with Captain America, because he was sent purposely to another location off of where he was supposed to land, and he's going to be given some intel. Overall, this is a really strong book. And oh yeah, and I also do like the way they're doing Sunfire's character overall. He's really arrogant, and they're really showing it. So overall, Remender is really making Uncanny as one of the X books to read. Now, just as a side note, one thing I was thinking as I was reading this is, wouldn't it be awesome if you had this book, let's say Uncanny X-Men, you know, after they do this storyline, where you have all the top Avengers and the top X-Men, and you know, like for an example, a supervillain pops up, and what they would do is they would attack that supervillain before you can even do anything, and nuke him like they've never done before. You know, obviously, I know that they would never do something like that, but just imagine, let's just say, Doctor Doom pops up, and he's in his castle, and he's ready to launch his latest evil scheme, and then you have all of the top heavy hitters, you know, from the Avengers, like, you know, obviously you'd have Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, you know, you'd have Emma, you know, Scott, Magneto, the Kookaloos, and you know, you have the girl who can stop time, and then all those people in there, and just level them. And I think as a what if type story, that would just be amazing, because we would see superheroes doing kind of unsuperheroic things, but doing it in such amazing levels of destruction. I think that'd be great. Anyways, there's that. Okay, now let's look at Justice League of America #3. Now, what they're basically doing is they're looking for that Society of Supervillains thing. And personally, I think with that supervillain group, while it was really needed to be done, I'm slowly kind of losing interest in it. And it's really weird that I'm losing interest in it as they're looking for it. I think part of my problem with this whole Secret Society is they introduced them early in Justice League, they give you a little taste here and there, and they dropped it. And I really would have liked to have seen a little bit more seeds being planted along the way. And so this way, when it gets to this point, it would have been, I think, much more of an impact. I mean, they didn't necessarily have to reveal who's going to be in the team, but just make more references along the way. Now, what they're trying to do here is they're trying to infiltrate Catwoman into this group, so this way they can figure out what's going on. Green Arrow tries to, you know, step in, and he kind of screws up their plan to get Catwoman into Arkham. And, you know, I don't know, there's something about this Green Arrow where he seems like this character that nobody really wants. And he keeps trying to... Okay, actually, this is the best way to describe it. Imagine that girl that's in high school that is all pimply and ugly, and she's so desperate she will do anything just for a boyfriend. And that's what this Green Arrow reminds me of. That he's so willing to do whatever it takes just to get onto a superhero team, because nobody wants him. And because, you know, basically what he's willing to do is he's like, I'll be quiet about what you're doing as long as you take me on your team. And I'm like, that's sad. That is really sad. But overall, I'm enjoying Justice League, but I'm not enjoying it as much as I think I should. I like Finch's art under normal circumstances, but a lot of times I find his artwork in this, it doesn't quite fit very well. And it's a shame, because I really do enjoy it. Like, even when you look at Star over here, our Stargirl, she looks older than what she really should be. And it's things like that that just kind of make me go, I don't know. It just doesn't fit. And even some of this battle sequences, it just wasn't as inspiring as I would have liked it to have been. But this scene right here was really good, with Hawkman just comes in and clobbers Green Arrow. But I am enjoying it. Okay, now Batman, #20. This is dealing with Clayface. And to me, this seemed like just this issue where they just kind of had to do a quick story, so this way they can start with the Year Zero storyline. And what we have is Clayface in his new form, where he basically he absorbs, in a sense, you know, the person in that he can look like the person, he can sound like the person. You know, he's got DNA type stuff, so he can really in a sense, he's been blackmailing people because you can't tell the difference. And, you know, he's very figured out Batman's Bruce Wayne type thing, but yet then Bruce Wayne plays the card where he makes it so it's like that's not correct. And they kind of tease the Batman Beyond armor right here, which I thought was kind of nice. But I don't know, to me, I think the story could have actually been a lot stronger if they weren't just using it as like a 2-issue filler just to get to the end. So this way they can do year 0. But I mean, overall, I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from it. I thought it's still well written. The Capullo's artwork is just fantastic, and I think without Capullo doing the art, this would have been a lot harder for me to get through. But overall, it was I still found it enjoyable. Anyways, those are my reviews for right now. I'll try to do some more reviews soon because I'm almost done reading Doubt, and we'll see what else I can get done. If you have any other comments or questions, let me know. Rate the video up or down. Let me know what you think. Like the Facebook link, and give out the codes. Oh, almost forgot. You guys need a code, don't you? Here is your code. And I'll have more reviews up later. I will say this, I can't say this enough. I've been reading Attack on Titan. And it is one of the best, one of the greatest stories I've read so far. The level of action is off the hook. The best way I can imagine, one thing I can explain to you is this. Imagine you're standing at a picnic and a fly is buzzing around you, really pissed off, and you swing at the fly with all of your might, and when you hit it with your hand, it explodes in a cloud of blood and gore. And that's what's going on in Attack on Titan right now. It's just, it's one of the most amazing things I've read. There is so little downtime in the story. They give you little bits and pieces for background and a little bit here and there, but it's basically it moves from action point to action point, and it's just insane watching people getting eaten alive by giants. Craziest thing I've seen. Highly recommend picking it up, watching it on Crunchyroll or Funimation. It's both streamed legally and on those 2 places, and the manga is coming out also. The first 4 volumes are out, and it's the greatest thing. It doesn't beat One Piece, but it's the greatest thing beyond the newest greatest thing. And it's actually the #1 show that people are talking about in Japan in terms of anime this season. Anyways, until next time.